Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Field Vision's live podcast series. We are done with the first Asian Cup qualifier game with Bangladesh, and it's a nil-nil draw. Not very surprising there, to be very honest, given how India has been playing the last 1 year. And it was a frustrating draw. Bangladesh really were dominating in the first few minutes, first 30 minutes, where they got some really good chances to score, 4 to 5 chances to score, and they squandered it all. And India eventually came back to the game in terms of controlling the composure, but they never really looked good enough to score. They did get some chances though, including Sunil Chetri, who could not finish it off, and it's a frustrating 0-0 draw. So we have got our panelists for today. We will go through the game, the ins and outs of what happened in the game and Indian football in general. So yeah, hello Rutvij, hello Shomik, thanks for coming in. So Rutvij, let's open with you. What are your first thoughts on the game?
My first thoughts is, okay, bhai, what are you guys doing? You can't even defeat a side like Bangladesh who hasn't played professional football in a month. कुछ नहीं किया उन लोगों ने. Yet they were the better team than you on the field. They've had 3 to 4 clear-cut chances against a couple here in couple here for India. I mean, the situation is so bad that now we don't even have words to even abuse players, abuse the system, abuse everything. It's all the same things that are being repeated every game after game. You got in a 40-year-old Sunil Chetri to score goals, yet even with him, you couldn't score a goal. You couldn't have a good shot on goal with multi-crore players that are earning multi-crore rupees per year. Yet those guys with almost one third or even 1/5 or 1/6 of the ways that these footballers make are going with a point back home. I mean, it's just stupid from to expect from Indian football team now. It's just stupid.
Shomik, you are up next. Let's see what you have to say.
Well, absolutely
So,
horrific. So absolutely horrific. So continues from the Indian football team, as it has been in the past few qualifiers of the FIFA World Cup. Uh, if you cannot match the intensity of the Bangladesh national team, then it shows where our league is right now, where our players are right now, and where we are progressing as a footballing nation. Uh, you can't create proper chances. There were a few chances from the left side through Liston and then Mahesh, and that was all. That was all we could create throughout the match. Your defense was carved open by the Bangladeshi team. The midfield had no control in the first half, and when you had control in the second half, you are not creating chances. Uh, coaches are joining. They are trying to do whatever they want to do. I have no idea, but at this point, as Ruthvik said, it's very tough to even expect anything from this team. You are not scoring goals, you are not creating chances, you are not playing good. If you cannot do it against Bangladesh, then what are we going to expect, and how? I have no idea.
Shabnam, what do you think? You have commentated in several games. Guys, let's first introduce him. Swapnamoy is the guest today. He is not part of Field Vision, so welcome to Field Vision, Swapnamoy. It's a pleasure to
thank
have
you.
you. And he is a commentator. He has commented across Indian football and also some other sports as well. So he's a seasoned caller of the game. So Swapnamoy, welcome to Field Vision, and let's hear what you have to say.
So thank you for inviting me here. It's my pleasure to come here. So let me start the game from the very basic, from where the problem started itself. If you look at the very first 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes of the game, at the initial moment, the entire midfield was completely non-functional. At that time, Hamza was constantly getting those balls, and I don't understand what's the reason behind playing Ayush Dev Chetri in the first half, because Naurem Mahesh Singh in the last match he played so well, and after that you just benched him for no reason. I don't know what's the reason behind it. Uh, Apart from that, you are bringing in a 40-year-old striker to play him as a main striker. I mean, what's the logic behind it? You have good strikers playing in ISL itself. Uh, you have David, though David, I think he's not ready yet for the national team, but definitely he can be an option for the future. Apart from that, there are other players who are scoring goals, and if you can take strikers from I League as well, and there were strikers in Santosh Trophy who has played really well. And Santosh Trophy, if you look quality wise, it's not so bad that you can't select a player from there into the national team and can groom him. So that's the scenario. And the header that was being missed by Sunil Chetri, it was just an awful header. I mean, the ball came in, and I was hearing the commentary. Robin Singh at that time was telling that he missed the header because the pitch is slippery. I don't understand what kind of logic is this. I mean, you can fall down due to the pitch being slippery, but you are missing a header due to it. Are you doing any kind of seam bowling or anything like that? I don't know what was the logic, but it's the fact that we are lagging behind in sports, and I don't think ISL is the sole reason. I think the main problem is in the grassroots. I mean, in West Bengal, if you look, there is not even a single residential academy that is operating at a proper level. All over India, also, it's the same scenario. One Minerva, one Sudeva, or other academies like Reliance Football. I was doing some matches in RFIS. The each means teams are getting hammered for 14, 15 goals. Such is the condition of youth academies in India. And from there, you are expecting better players will come up. It will never happen. So it's a horrible scenario, and we are in the midst of a turmoil. Let's see what happens next.
Very, very, very brutal introduction from Shopner Boy, taking apart the commentators and Chetri himself and system. But coming back to the game itself, see, there was a huge hype around Hamza Chaudhary, right? We expected him to play in a more attacking role because that was the rumor from the Bangladeshi media that he will be used in attacking role. But he was not really. He was used in his usual role in front of the defense, and he was used as a defensive sweeper. And Hamza Chaudhary, he was decent. Okay, I'm not gonna go into the nitty-gritties where I'm gonna criticize him or over analyze him. He was okay. He was great. But keeping Hamza apart, I'm curious because Bangladesh, the team looked really physical. Like, let's keep Hamza Chaudhary out of the picture. In the previous few matches where India has played Bangladesh, India always used to have the ball, take the ball, and have the initiative to go forward and try to create chances, try to create openings, try to find some spaces. So Bangladesh was a team. Whenever they used to face India, they used to play on the low block. Like, we will defend, we will keep it low, and we will try to hit India on the counter. But and they were a team not really known for the physicality at all. Like, they are a group of lanky people who are fast. They always had the pace. But today, like, players like Rahmat Mia and that Sohail Rana and the other guys, they were really physical. Like uh, like they were allowing our wingers or our midfielders to have any amount of time on the ball. So keeping Hamza from the equation, how different was Bangladesh as a team, which looked today? Which I want to ask you this: like, how different was Bangladesh from the usual past form, keeping Hamza aside?
Yeah, to be very honest, they've elevated their levels from what they were playing in what we saw them against in the last World Cup qualifiers group game in Qatar, in Kolkata. Their football has elevated. Okay, they've not played a professional game, but you could see an elevation of their game today. And as I said in the afternoon as well, for them it was not just another game. It was India. It was everything. They have had everything in their mind. Even yesterday in the pre-match conference, the captains made a comment that was not related to sports but related to conditions back home. So, all in all, they were prepared for this game mentally and physically both. I personally expected them to maybe physically not so daunting. I thought they would lose their gas in 60, 70 minutes, but no. If only they were good enough, they could have won this game 2-0, 3-0, whatever it was. We were that sort of pathetic. And credit to them, they've played a better game of football. They came with the set idea, they executed it, and I mean, from the first minute itself, no, disregarding what happened in the first the slip by Vishal Kant, they made sure the first 20, 15 20 minutes, whenever Indian players come launching, will just kick the ball forward and then step by step grow in confidence and then take take the game as deep as possible. And they were very good runners. And even yes, there was dew on the pitch, there was everything, everyone was falling, but they were acclimatized better than India, is what I make from this game. India was looking like a away side and not the home side. I'm not talking about the support and everything, but the way we played the game, we were looking as a away side and not the home side. We were not dominating. I mean, we w- we needed someone to look in the eye and say that yes, we are India and we will dictate the game. You need those one sort of physical movements in the game to okay say stamp the authority here. But we don't have those players to like okay go and fight, say something, disrupt them. None of them, none of that happened, unfortunately.
Exactly, like Bangladesh did look really good today, and even I am surprised because, as I said, excluding Hamza from the equation also did not change anything for me because the other players were so good. And coming back to Hamza himself, he was fantastic in front of the defense. So Bangladesh going forward, Bangladesh can be a team which might not lose, which might not win matches because obviously lack of quality with their strikers and wingers and creators. But I think they will have a great time against teams who like to play with the ball because Hamza will be there and he will be there to utilize the opponents who like to play with the ball. So I'm guessing Bangladesh has a has an option going forward where they where they have an option that okay, we might not win this game today, but we will not lose today. Hamza can be that guy who will ensure that Bangladesh does not lose. So Shopnumai, you have followed Bangladesh football to a good extent, and you also commented in games. So tell me, w- what are your first reaction on Hamza Chaudhary's debut in international football, and what does it mean for Bangladesh football in general, having someone as Hamza in the setup going forward?
So first of all, if you look at Hamza Chaudhary, players like Hamza Chaudhary, not of his caliber definitely, but I mean, PIs from other countries, players have already came in the Bangladesh national team. They have Tarek Kazi, who was part of the Finnish club. Then they have Jamal Boya, who started his career with FC Copenhagen. So these players are definitely in their team. And Hamza Chaudhary, he's a different caliber player. He played for Leicester City. He's currently with Sheffield Wednesday club. So the thing that is heartening the entire Indian team is that whenever Hamza was receiving the ball, Indian team wasn't so physically well adept to cope with that situation because at the defensive medio position, Hamza was receiving the ball, and when I was seeing that the player who was going to counter him, it was Apuya. Now, if you compare the physicality of Apuya with the physicality of Hamza Chaudhary, it's way apart. And apart from that, Hamza Chaudhary, he's very good on the ball. And whenever he's receiving the ball, he's making. Though today's match, if you look at his pass completion rate, it was not so good. He has made a lots of miss passes at the center, lost a lots of ball, and that's the reason why he hadn't been so effective. And it's if you look, Hamza has I think practiced with the team for 7 to 8 days, so that has also created a problem. But if Hamza gets set into this team, then Bangladesh national team, if you look at this side, because this side is a comparatively new side, most of these players are 22, 23, 24, they're of that age group. So as most of the players, they're of that age group. So they run more, they have more stamina to play in a game, and that has created the problem. And also, I mean, the Indian national team, they have a lots of problem. I mean, we still lack positional players. We still lack a proper DM. I mean, in so many years, ISL is running for 10, 11 years. We don't have a proper defensive media who can actually play properly in matches like this. So I think these problems, and I think worse days are coming for India as we will face Hong Kong and Singapore, who are much better team than this Bangladesh side.
Yeah, of course, man. Like things are not looking good at all for India. Shomik, of course, Shopman mentioned a while ago that like Sunil Chetri coming back to the Indian team, and he came back and also scored a goal against Maldives. So it all looked good that maybe he is the one who will help us throughout this cycle and make us qualify. And of course, we had all that hope. But again, today we saw that beat Chetri before retirement or after retirement. I think we are way too over reliant on him, and we did not score any single goal without him. And even with him, he simply is not clinical enough like he used to be. Of course, he has had a fantastic season in the ISL, but again, I think international football is just different. So going forward, what do you do as an Indian football manager? Like what does Manolo do going forward? Like, does he keep depending on Chetri, because he has been very clear, right? He has been clear in his press conference that I brought him because he can still score goals. I brought him because he is the best. I brought him because we could not score goals. But now it looks like Chetri might not be as effective as he would have assumed. So what? So how does Manolo tackle with this problem where he has to bring Chetri back from retirement, but he simply is not that good enough? But against the other youngsters have not proved themselves completely yet. So how do you tackle this huge issue of not scoring goals?
Well, first of all, Manolo is in a pretty dicey situation with the Chetri thing, as you mentioned. Uh, Secondly, I think he will have to back his decision. You have taken a decision, back it for this cycle. If it doesn't work, then okay. But and if you don't want to back Chetri, then you will have to play friendlies in the next windows to give a new striker some opportunity. Say someone like David, who can play as a nine. Someone like Manveer, who has been tried earlier, who has got matches under his belt as a nine. Someone like Irfan, who probably has not got that many matches with the national team. And there are quite a few other strikers in the I League as well. Whatever you want to do, you will have to back the players. We are at a point where we are absolutely in need of some results. That much is true. But on the other hand, as the issue with goal scoring is progressing, uh, you can divide it into two parts. First of all, we lack a good finisher, and secondly, we don't create much. It's not like Chetri is the only problem. Who is creating the chances? I have no idea why Naurem played so much late into the game. Uh, he could have been. He probably Manolo thought let's get Farouk's work rate and hope he does well in the loose ball situation that Chetri might pounce on, but that didn't work. Irfan came at the late end of the game. He won a few headers that probably would have helped Chetri if we had started Irfan with him. Uh, Chetri at this point has regressed physically, and so we are seeing that he is not winning the headers which he used to do in the past. So, what can you do? You can pair up another striker with him, or you can rely on him solely and go with another number 10 like Mahesh. I have no idea why Farooq played as a 10 in this match. And as for the actual question, I have no idea how Manolo is going to figure it out. We are in a total mess at this point. Uh, I think I saw this tweet from someone or saw this message from someone. Like we were hoping for a replacement of Chetri, where we didn't even get a replacement of JJ till now. Uh, Earlier in the last decade, when Chetri used to not score in matches, JJ or Balwant used to pop up, or Robin Singh used to pop up and score those goals. I mean, who are the backups of him? Are they getting enough minutes in the national team? Are they playing in the position in the national team that they actually can do well? I have no idea.
Well, that's a very gloomy answer, but a realistic answer because nobody has any answers. Because if anybody would have had, we would not be in this situation. So, Rutvij, yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I mean, what could I mean? ISL, everyone, stakeholders, Reliance, everyone has done whatever they can to get a good striker. They've done everything, right? What more could ISL do to get striker? You were stupid enough to not get a 15-day gap for the I League, and you knew you cannot use the I League strikers. That one is uh, the one from Interkashi. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting names. Another one is Lal Bianca from Aizawl. Interkashi is now challenging for the title, and Lal Bianca from Aizawl is working his ass off to make sure Aizawl does not get relegated. Right? So we cannot use either of them in these games. Now, now in June we play two games, and I guess both are away games. And after that, we play SAF Championship probably in Sri Lanka. We don't know what the facilities in Sri Lanka is. So I mean, it's a poor planning from AIFF. They knew they had the Interkashi forward in the team. What could have happened if they would have paused 2 weeks in between to make sure two or three players, whoever they are, they can make it to the national team. So it's just poor planning from AIFF, lack of maturity, lack of initiation from players. It's the same. No one wants to take the responsibility. हमको क्या है, एक साल हो गया, हमको ये हो रहा है, हमको सब क्लब तीन तीन चार चार साल के लिए साइन कर रहा है. We don't have any performance this thing, क्योंकि पता है अगर अगर हम परफॉर्मेंस नहीं देंगे कोई हमें बेच तो पाएगा नहीं, क्योंकि हमारा तो ट्रांसफर वैल्यू तो है नहीं कि कोई हमें खरीदेगा. हम तो ऐसे ही पड़े हैं, 3 साल ऐसे ही करोड़ 2 करोड़ बना लिया. अब तो क्या है, बस जिंदगी है, करेंगे, मजा आया तो ठीक है, बाकी ठन ठन गोपाल.
Well, it's a never-ending issue. So, coming back to this game and in particular, obviously, as Shopnuma mentioned, apart from Hamza, he's of course a player with pedigree who has had played in the Premier League and Championship. Bangladesh also had other players like Tariq Kazi, Jamal Bhuiya, who have played in Europe, in Argentina. So they have the experience of playing outside. So obviously, India cannot have that and do not have that because we have a league which pays really good, and also I think somewhere we also lack players who have the vision and the career progression to go beyond that ceiling and try to play outside. So Shobnamoy, coming back to you. So I mean, India cannot have OCIs. Like even if we do it, it's a huge legal mess. Like you have the government who needs to pass bills and convince other federations to accept the bills, and you have the courts who, even if you try to get the OCI thing passed, like we used to have players who used to represent India, OCI players back in early 90s. They used to play for India in Olympic events and other sports, but the Delhi High Court struck that down. So since then, the government will not listen to you, and the courts are also against you. So how do you think, like how do you make Indian players try to, of course there is a pay package which is paying really good, 1 crore, 2 crores per year. How does an Indian player, like what are the incentives you can give to an Indian player so that they go outside and have some minutes under the belt, train in a more efficient league. So how do you do that? Like we have to send our players outside to make them better. So how do we deal with this problem where we simply don't have enough quality games to play in the domestic season for players itself?
So if you look at the current scenario, it's quite difficult in Indian football because most of the Indian players who are currently playing in the national team, they are overpriced in ISL. Most players are receiving 2 crores, 3 crores from the team, so that will not help them to go outside because in a European country, if you go to any kind of East European country like Slovenia, Slovakia, Croatia, these countries offer you very less. And it's not always that whoever goes outside to play, he is a very good player. Like we have players like Manas Dubey who played in I think some Spanish lower division club. We have players like Kabir Kohli who is currently playing for Sudeva. He also played outside in CD Olympic team like that. It's a third division team. I mean, not third, it's Tercera division. They call it like this. So there are many players. Even there was a player of whom I had heard a rumor that he is joining East Bengal a few years back. I've forgotten his name. He plays in Slovenia. So many players are there who plays abroad at the current time. But the thing is, how much is the quality in them? And also, OCI is not a solution in any of the cases because if you look at the OCIs, means quality of OCIs who express their desire to play for the Indian national team, they are players like Triman Ranveer. Now, I watched a match of Triman Ranveer where he came on to play for Delhi FC, and it was a horrible game. Any Indian academy boy is better than Triman Ranveer. Okay, then I mean, Michael Chopra at his 35, 36 years of age, he was expressing desire to play for Indian national team. So, I mean, it's a thing. Hamza Chaudhary, he came at a once. I mean, there are many, you can find many players of Bangladesh who are playing abroad, but not all are expressing desire. So, there is a thing that players should be willing, not players who are just out of their focus. And second thing is, one player will not change your entire system. First of all, you should stop overpaying any Indian in the Indian Super League. Second, Indian clubs should try playing more matches with the foreign teams. Like when the ISL was started at the initial time, this were some of the things that ISL clubs used to do. Like I have seen Atletico de Kolkata at that time; it was the top club of the ISL, one of the top club. So it used to play in Spain. It used to go in Italy to play practice matches before the season starts. Even we have seen many other teams, Chennai FC and other teams, ISL teams. They used to do their pre-season abroad, but currently these things are stopped. But then, I mean, you are having a tournament like Next Gen Cup, but what's the point in doing it when your teams are getting hammered for 10, 11 goals? So, I mean, at least we are stopping IFA Shield. IFA Shield used to bring 2, 3 quality foreign teams. This year, we had seen the All India Governors Gold Cup that was being held in Sikkim, where some poor third grade foreign teams used to come. Like KDN FC from Malaysia, it was a horrible team. I have seen Royal FC from Dubai. That was also a fraud team. I mean, only the good team that used to came, it was Transport United FC from Bhutan, and rest all were just horrible. I mean, it's pathetic situation at the current time, and I don't know where we are heading to, but definitely First of and another important thing that AIFF should consider is to rebrand this Santosh Trophy tournament, because Santosh Trophy it has produced many good players in the past. So I mean, and also another new drama that is being started by AIFF is to produce super leagues for every states. Like in the ISL model, we had Kerala Super League that was successful, Gujarat Super League it was successful to some extent. But currently, I think most of you don't know that Andhra Pradesh Super Cup is going on. That's also a franchise-based tournament. Its viewership in a match, 20 to 25 people watch the matches. So not always this Super League model is also successful. You are watching Nagaland Super League, and again, referees like L. Priyojit Singh. You all know, I mean, horrible referee. If the ball goes there, he will stay here. So unfit referee completely. He does even he does refereeing in I League as well. So he is doing refereeing there. So if these things continue, then definitely Indian football will go on like this only. No one can change.
Well, Shopramai, going back to Shomik here. So Shomik Shopramai said that players are priced at 2 crores, 3 crores, and there are clubs who are willing to pay that because at the top division level, trophies do matter. Because I understand player development is key, but to keep fans happy, to keep domestic fans happy, you have to win trophies. And in certain pockets like Kerala, Kolkata, you have to win trophies there to keep your fans happy, and there is a pressure to win. So clubs are willing to pay a premium to get those players. And since quality Indian players are a few, so there's always a battle in the transfer market, and the price eventually goes up, and you are paying 2 crores. So how does the system, like, obviously it's a very broad question, but how do we ensure that there are enough players of a similar quality at a top level, so that clubs are not forced to pay a premium? Because if there is a small pool of players, you have to pay a premium to chase trophies. So how do you look at it, like, what can be done from a federation perspective, clubs perspective, on having their own players, and the ecosystem perspective? How can we ensure that there are enough players, so that players are not overpaid, and then so that players are eventually forced to go out and play in Europe or South America? So how do we do that?
Before answering that question, I just want to add a few more points that Ruthvich told earlier. I League is currently running in an international window, but there are quite a few other leagues in the world, like MLS, Major League Soccer, that is running parallelly to the international window. We earlier saw Super Cup ran parallelly to the AFC Asian Cup. USA is calling their players. They are not they are not afraid to call the players from MLS. So why can't we? The second divisions and third divisions of all top leagues are running in the world, and they are calling their players. If they want to pick a player from the second division, they are not just they will just ask the club to release him. But why can't we ask Intercasi to release Edmund here?
I just come in here. Sorry. What I know is there was a pact between I League teams and the federation that I League players will not be called for this window. The news isn't out, but there was this understanding between the federation and the clubs in the I League. In this window, the clubs will not release the players because, as I said, Interkashi is chasing the title and Aizwal is uh, possibly
In the
saving
relegation battle.
themselves from saving themselves from relegation.
Yeah, I understand your point of concern, but if things like this run day to day in the AIFF, then and that doesn't come out until someone like you or any other journalist breaks it, then we are in danger. And what can I say? Now coming back to Sayak's query. So basically, we are seeing Indian players is getting a lot of money from ISL. That has raised a concern between the fans, that they are getting 2 crores, 3 crores deal. We recently saw Anwar's big deal, Apuya's big deal, and a lot of other players like Thapa. There was recently a news on Nowren Roshan Singh also. So players are yes, players are getting big deals from the ISL clubs that are hindering their chance to go abroad. But it's all about the ambition. Even if you're getting good deals, big deals, it's all about the ambition. Where you want to be as a player is up to you. Now, if a player wants to go abroad and prove himself in a decent European league, get his chance there, do well there, he will earn even more in the upcoming years. It's all about taking that one chance. Are they ready to take the chance? And if they are not, we cannot just blame the clubs for handing over big contracts, because they need to win the trophies to keep their fans happy. They have a duty towards their fans also, just as much as they do have a duty to the nation. Okay. Now, the player pool, as you said, is very small. In a country like India, if we do have such a small player pool, from which a coach has to choose players for the national team, or from which the clubs have to choose players, the price will always go high. So what can we do? We can invest more in the grassroots that Swapnamoy earlier mentioned. In Bengal, we do not have a single residential academy. If a footballing hub like Bengal do not have a single residential academy, then we can think what is happening in the other part of India. Uh, big ISL clubs like Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, and other giants like Bangalore, Goa, they do have their responsibility towards youth football. The youth football leagues should be run in a better way also. In every country in the world, or in every good country in the world, the youth teams play throughout the year. It cannot be a 2 3 months long tournament where you are going to play 10 games or 15 games within 30 40 days, and you think you are going to produce players. It cannot be like this. This is not a solution. You need to have a proper scientific calendar for the youth teams. Now, from here comes the concern. If clubs do need to invest in the youth leagues, what are the things they do need? They need good coaches. They need good setup, good residential setup. They need to take care of the education of these children. They need good physiotherapists, good team doctors who will look after the injuries of these players. Are we even doing the basic or bare minimum for our youth setups? If we cannot do the bare minimum, then we are never going to get good enough players who will be ready by 17 or 18 years, by the age of 17 or 18 years, to jump into another league and try for them. Now, here is another solution. Like we are seeing ISL clubs having one, two, three players who can play in the number 9 position, and our Indian forwards are not getting chances as the strikers. But it's not like it's the only it does only happen in India. It happens in other nations also. Once I heard David Williams talking about his experience of playing abroad. He said, like, when I went abroad to play, uh, I was always in the pressure that as a foreign player I will have to deliver, because there is this budding young player who can take my chance, who can take any chance if I leave my place in the team. Are our players also pushing the foreigners enough that the coaches do take a chance on them to start them in the match? We are we just saw David scoring 6 or 7 goals for the Red and Gold Brigade in the ISL. but he's not starting in any matches. Uh, it's not like we can only blame Oscar Bruzo for that, because he was not starting in matches for Quadrat also. It's similar for every other striker in every other team. How many of them are starting in ISL games? We cannot just blame the coaches also. Like you are putting foreign players, you are not starting the Indian players. Are they even pushing the foreign players enough in the training sessions that they can get their chances as a to start a match? So we have to answer a lot of questions. At this point, we are in a structural mess with the Indian football, and AIFA needs to do bare minimum to keep the system alive. Along with AIFF, the clubs to need to make the bare minimum. With they are investing a lot of money in the first team. I get that. I'm very happy for that. But they need to invest that much money in the youth football as well. Unless they do the simple things, we are never going to get better. And as you saw in today's match, Bangladesh has improved a lot. The other teams will improve at a rapid pace, and we will just stay at a stagnant phase.
And yeah, two keywords from your answer: bare minimum and stagnant pace. I think bare minimum is the word which is synonymous to Indian football. Like, be it be it hosting leagues, be it hosting cups, be it having academies, be it having friendlies, be it having broadcasters, everything is being done to ensure that bare minimum happens. So the bare minimum is happening. So clearly, bare minimum is not enough because we are stagnant. Because few years ago, we used to thrash teams like Vietnam, Palestine, and and even Malaysia. We used to beat them. We beat them comprehensively in Kolkata 15 years ago. So there were many teams in Southeast Asia, even South Asia, who used to be teams which was a matter of formality, but we are playing them, we will win mostly. And now that has changed. Southeast Asia has improved. They also have this backing of foreign players, but their system is also efficient enough to keep that in check. And South Asian teams are also improving. Pakistan has improved quite a lot. They won their first ever game, the World Cup qualifiers. Bangladesh, we saw what's happening, sudden change in other players as well. So yeah, teams will keep on improving, and as Shomik said, we are hitting a stagnant. We are where we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Like, of course, fans have come in, marketing components are there. There is money, there is a system, there are leagues happening, there is infrastructure, but the end result where you need your national team to win matches is simply not happening. So I think we have run out of things to do now. There are things to do, but I think we have done enough things which can be done now. So I don't know how to go forward. Anyways, I think we have analyzed enough this game and overall structure of Indian football. So Rutvij will close today's episode with you. So India faces Hong Kong up next. It's a singular game. Like, we only play Hong Kong in June, and the next game is in October, I think. I'm not sure much, but yeah. So we have around we have 2 more months. We have we have a Super Cup in between. We have ISL matches happening. So what do we do in the next 2 months to ensure that we get those 3 points? Because we have to win in Hong Kong. It is absolutely compulsory that we win, or else we might miss on an Asian Cup qualification. So what do we do in the next 2 months, Rutvich? I think he's having some issues with his internet. So Shopam, I really like to take this.
See, nothing from now on in the next 2 months can change the scenario. Like, there will not be any magic, and football is not magic. It's a slow process in which everything occurs. So nothing in the next 2 months will change Indian football completely. I'm not expecting it, but I think Somik was telling a very good point that Indian strikers, they are not pushing enough to get a chance in the playing 11, and that's the story. Many people are talking about David. David has played 11 matches, scored only 4 goals, 600 minutes of play. I mean, You have to be better. David has many problems. Let me tell them. First of all, David doesn't look who is free. He always goes there. He's physically not strong enough, and 5'7" is not a adept height for a number nine. If he is not a very good header, I mean, David spot jump. If you look at those things, also he is not a very good header. So I don't think that at the current scenario, David deserves a place in the first team. Even Andre Chernishaw, when he used to coach Mohammedan SC, he also never preferred David to play as a number nine in his team. So that's the reason. And David is not a solution. And in the next 2 months, no new magic will happen that will put anyone. Unless and until some player gets back his form. Like we have Ishan Panditya, who is searching his form, who is trying to come back. We have Manveer Singh, who can be suddenly can be tested as a number nine. So these are the reason. But I am not seeing any positive glimmer of a hope in the next 2 months. But definitely, if luck favors, India can get some points in the matches against Hong Kong and Singapore. If luck doesn't favor, we will again drown deep and deep in world football.
Luck. Luck only favors the one who is brave. So, Rutvij, you were gone for a minute, so please put your thoughts and then we can end this.
So I mean, uh, I don't remember the dates of the Super Cup, but I believe the Indian football season ends in April, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll have around 45 days, assuming Manolo goes back home for 2 weeks and then comes. We'll have a month to prepare for that game. So, as Swapnamoy said, nothing big will change, but what we can do is we can change the approach of how we play. We build character in the team. I remember Nilanjanda in one of the podcasts on YouTube saying when Stephen Constantine came for his second stint in India, and when India couldn't defeat teams like Nepal, teams like Bangladesh, uh, players like Subrat Uppal, players like Sunil Chhetri used to take upon himself and say, "All right, boys, we are going to do that." But right now, despite having so many senior players like Chetri himself, Jing, and you have Rahul Bheke, and all these senior Subhashish Bose, you have all these senior players, but these guys need to take responsibility and they need to get their act together with a team, not on them, but with a team saying, boys, we need to buckle up, or, or else we don't deserve to wear this blue jersey. And we, in the next 2 months, what India needs to do is build character, build heart, and take it upon themselves. They need to feel shameful that we didn't win this game. They need to feel shameful to understand the importance of dropping points. Once they do that, then we can go out there against a tough Hong Kong side. And saying tough because the coach of Hong Kong knows our team better than Manolo Marquez. He's a guy who knows Indian team better than Manolo Marquez. You might disagree, but that's the truth. He got a third Afghanistan side to beat the India A side in Guwahati. So you need to build character and you need to act. Everyone, from Vishal Kath to Sunil Chhetri, and from Manolo Marquez to Kalyan Chaube. Whatever it is, build character.
Well, I hope we do build character and we like I want to end this podcast with some positives, but again, Muhammad Ul Marquez said right at the end of this game, like in the interaction, Robin Singh asked him, "Sir, any positives from this game?" And Manoj replied, "The only positive today is that India did not concede any goals given the chances Bangladesh created. So I'm not gonna be uh, be be a farce here and put a positive spin to today's game or today's episode. So yeah, things are looking really bleak for Indian football. The 3-0 win against Maldives was a breath of fresh air, but again we are back to square one. We are where we were 1 year ago. We are where we are 2 years ago. So, but again, we have to qualify for the Asian Cup because if we do not, we would have wasted complete 4 years, and 4 years is a long time in Indian football because given the pace other countries are progressing, we must qualify for Asian Cup because if we do not, that would be the final nail in the coffin because of course we are also hearing problems in the FSDL deal with AIFF. So if that falls out, India does not qualify for the Asian Cup, things changed really bad in terms of the structure, the national team. So we have to qualify. Anyways, thank you, Shopnamoy, for joining in. Great hearing your thoughts. Thank you, Shomik, for great analysis, putting in, and thank you, Rutvij, for joining in as always. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you soon as Indian football goes back to domestic season. So yeah, wish you all the best, and thank you. Good night.